can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal. You can be a peaceful youth. You can be a useful youth. Make the best of life, life eternal tries for you. Make the best of life, life eternal tries for you. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Make the best of life, life eternal tries for you. Make the best of life, life eternal tries for you. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. You can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal. You can be a peaceful youth.
We have individual prayer. Thank you. Next on the agenda, Jeremiah, please come forward.
I'm equipped to solve all kinds of problems. I am a tripodite, an ideal youth. A youth to be proud of anyhow, anywhere, and anytime. It's having something in him or her that you know we, with the help of God, and also with the help of the people around us, will help you to develop it and also to make good use of it. B, to teach and guide youth to adopt the gift, also share. Peace, we also make so all the youths that we engage on, they should know that every individual has to practice peace. The youth, in a process of mind renewal and awakening of spiritual consciousness. I thank you all for your kind attention. I am very much.
My name is Sugiatu Kere, a student from Kainaba Senior Secondary School and the Senior Secretary of the Gambia Tripodi Foundation. My topic today is how to utilize and engage your potential and your gifts. What are we expecting from you? We have to start it now. We are the youth of this country, the young future leaders. We are the brain-minded people here. One way anybody of any age can promote peace is to be peaceful. This means being conscious of the need and feelings of others.
Good morning, my fellow youth. You are highly welcome. We have a common bond in this part of our world, because we have to keep it. The Creator has given it to us. And negligence in keeping what we have received as a gift has led to crisis needlessly several times in several places. Now we have decided in the foundation to take a bold step, what we describe as a proactive measure, instead of allowing circumstances to legislate what happens in our lives and in our communities. All the areas around the world where you have crisis, wars, the victims are youth. As a matter of fact, the perpetrators are equally youth. The United Nations have been spending billions of dollars in certain sports around the world. But what we see is further escalation. We just have to do something. If we keep on looking, the next tragedy may just strike us. Because at the end of the day, we will have nobody to blame but ourselves. Imagine the way we are sitting here today. We are from different families, different tribes, different schools, different grades. But we are peaceful. We are having a nice time. Now, if we don't do something unitedly, we discover that the same people are sitting down there. Some forces will come. Before you know, we will take arms against ourselves. We start killing ourselves. As human beings, we know what to do. What we lack is the encouragement and the motivation to do it. You know it's not good to slap somebody without a cause. You know it's not good to steal somebody's things. But somebody comes and asks you to abuse your teacher, asks you to steal something. Everybody around you, see, you can do it. Everybody does it. You know, and then you do it. And you call that factors of influence. Okay? But we have come together to make anything that is negative, anything that is violent, that is non-tolerant, you know, every bad attitude, to see them as they are, as bad, something to be ashamed of. Instead of laughing after bad attitude, you are in a forum, maybe you are just sitting down in front of your house. Somebody is doing, maybe your uncle, and somebody throws an abusive word. Instead of looking with disdain on such a person, how dare you say that? That is awful. Then everybody begins to laugh, as if you are enjoying it. You know, this is how we have corrupted ourselves. Or is it in a classroom? You see students teaching, then the teacher comes. The worst student, you know, maybe under some psychiatric treatment, that should be heard, comes there and hijacks the best of them. It throws some foolish words. Instead of everybody looking at her or him, what is this? Who is this? From what part of the world is this one from? Then everybody begins to laugh and you make a hero, you make a model, you make a star out of such a person. I mean, how can you laugh over something you should condemn just because everybody laughs? What is so funny in calling your father names? What is so funny in abusing or calling your teacher names? And yet you want to develop, and yet you want to achieve your aims in life. And that is why we have come together. In this movie, every other thing we are going to listen to today are actually dramatized. You are going to see the problem between two families over land.
Because of white man philosophy, thought that is bad. And they are bringing it to our culture, trying to clean it out of our society. So if you do that, are you violating the human rights of the child, or you are, because you have to follow the culture of your country, you have to follow the rights of your culture, your tradition, and at the same time the constitution is against it. So where are you?
Okay. There are concepts in human life: relativism, cultural relativism, and universal relativism. There are people who believe culture must prevail. Whatever you are trying to convert in the community, you must take into consideration the culture. There are sort of universal standards. You must look at universal standards. You cannot use your culture to use it as a justifying ground to do certain acts. You understand? So that is a theory, and scholars, human rights scholars, are writing a lot about it. They have divided. If you look at the scholars from Asian countries, scholars from African countries, and European countries, I have divergent opinions. My own view is you have to look at certain culture, but you need to look at the gravity of the culture. If you know the culture has proven scientifically bad and is causing havoc to individuals, the state must intervene to protect such a right, such a practice right, and a right be given to you. If it is proven. But protect, I believe in cultural relativism to an extent. But that culture must be a culture that is we all understand that can pass the repugnancy test. It's a reasonable culture, and it has reasonable fairness, equity, and natural justice and good conscience will allow you to do that.
We Muslims believe that it is not part of human life. It is part of following the religion of Islam and the tradition which our forefathers leave us here. And I am telling you that we are going to continue this process. Whether people like it or not. Because we are not right, we are not. We are not.
And I feel saddened when we don't really understand, or we don't, let me know if you don't understand, but it's like we want to be partial because of this right in our judgment. My sister that just spoke breaks me a little that he's talking about this. Now when they talk about certain things, let's judge it rightly and not on the side of this is white man, this is black man. If you look at it, this is white man, this is black man, I'll tell you I'm African and we are going to die. And we are living the way we are living now. We should appreciate the little intervention of the white man. Otherwise, our culture is deadly. You understand? What you are talking about, I'm from another country and I went through it. And I know what it is. And none of my children will never. You understand? They will never. So we are saying we want to be liberated. Let's not sit them to teach us, but let us see. They find out. Did you find out? No. Now, like the brother said, it's selfish thing that made them to talk about marriage for their own selfish end, so that the woman will not be sexually motivated whilst they are away. So it's on their own because they are selfish. They feel the woman will cheat them somehow. It was not for the woman's side. And I've listened to a lot of series of Islamic scholars, and they said even the Quran didn't say it. I'm not a Muslim, but I've listened to a lot of things. So when we are talking about human rights, let's look at it rationally. Then we get there. If you see the whole lot of arguments we have in the world today, it's because we are biased in our thinking. This is why they want to lead us. And we don't look at what really are they saying. I'm not saying they are good. I'm not saying they did well to run for slavery. But it all come about. Where is our own thinking? Like I know in Nigeria, they said they used to kill twins, assuming they did not sacrifice their life to remove that culture. Killing twins, they said twins were devils. Is it so? Maybe we even have some twins here. So let's be rational, please.
You can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal. You can be a peaceful youth. You can be a useful youth. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. You can be a tripodite. You can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal.
All your words are so sweet. Nobody knows any script. Everybody out there, nobody was instructed. Everything you have, everybody said. Everything each person said. They just not
Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Make the best of life. Life eternal tries for you. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. Whatever you sow, that is what you reap from life. You can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal. You can be a peaceful youth. You can be a useful youth. You can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal.
selfishness, violence, intolerance. You make them think they are ashamed of what they commit violence. Not that we crucify or judge.
You can be a tripodite. You can be an ideal.
Somebody falls down or somebody makes a blunder or mistake.
You can be a peaceful youth.
You can't clap.
You can be a useful youth.
That's why they get faster.
You can be a tripodite.
Highly intellectual.
You can be an ideal.
They will never come to time like they know why. Because people will laugh at it. They are afraid people will laugh. So many of us say, if I ask you to come out and talk,
Give peace to chance. Say no to war and violence. See you next time. Stays by the earth.
You are ugly, you are not modern, you are not this, you are not sleep, you are not okay. All of these things, they are lies. They are not right. Please, you are going out there, have a nice time. Whatever is there, I believe must be African food. So whatever you see, make sure you finish everything because you need energy to conclude the other parts of this seminar. God bless you all.
system. Tap down AC with the cooling system. When I come to the club, people bleaching up. Got a task on my desk that I'm saving up. This one's for the boys with the booming system. Tap down AC with the cooling system. When I come to the club, people bleaching up. Got a task on my desk that I'm saving up.
Nevertheless, I'm confused, looking stressed. The only key for my stress is to confess. Never give up on the self, no matter what I put to the tomorrow, I be better than the West. Sitting on my table, with them at the table. They beat me with cable, they feel it in my neighbor. Then I go to mama able, but she said she don't ever. Then I go to papa able, then they say it on never. I'm a good bad man, street fellows fed, never feeling stressed. And they make me so stressed, I'm hitting legs on the speed of peace. That's why people coming like a bit to make me feel stressed. You know my time, you just coming on my phone. I'ma answer you and tell you what everything the problems you need. Everything you need, say, you're gonna come to me and let me show you.
I'm waiting, I'm laughing, I'm happy, I'm jumping, I'm waiting, I'm laughing. It's happening right now. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening right now. I'm waiting, I'm laughing, I'm happy, I'm jumping, I'm waiting, I'm laughing. It's happening right now. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening right now. When I pass Canada to Canada, everybody know me as Supergata. Then go to pass Canada to Canada.
Oh, metal, Loretta metal. Oh, my daughter, Sango water. All the church men, Lord Badura, Lori Otta, and you Otta, Femu water, Nini Center.
Nevertheless, see me on the dress, make the beats, make the stress, and never feel the stress, and never beats the stress, and let me make it feel like me, man, everybody call me, but to say me, man, say me, then the stress don't make me, but I miss it, don't miss it, the time is on me, let me catch it on me, it's your man, hands in the beast, when I'm in the street, never in the streets, I'm in the beach, in the mind, they tell me what the female are handling, everything you do with the hand over the mask, and they make me the face, but the climb in the mansion, and make me the face, that I make me the feel, yo.
Malida India, Atmoscata, Malida India, Matimoscata, Jelly so, Tomato, I'm waiting, I'm laughing, I'm happy, I'm jumping, I'm waiting, I'm laughing. It's happening right now. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening right now. I'm waiting, I'm laughing, I'm happy, I'm jumping, I'm waiting, I'm laughing. It's happening right now. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening right now.
Most of you don't wanna pedal, everybody's gotta pedal, even though you're tired and don't wanna pedal. You gotta pedal and you never give up on yourself for life, for life, for life, for life. Most of you don't wanna pedal, everybody's gotta pedal, even though you're tired and don't wanna pedal. You gotta pedal and you never give up for yourself for life, for life, for life. A snake without a rattle, or else without a saddle, or though without a shadow, a ride on a shadow. You gotta pedal and you never give up for yourself.
I'm waiting, I'm laughing, I'm happy, I'm jumping, I'm waiting, I'm laughing. It's happening right now. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening.
Over metal, Loretta metal. Oh, my daughter, Sango water. All the church men, Lord Badura, Lori Otta, and you Otta, Femu water, Nini Center. Iyo go go, bam bam bam. Yo, that's right, that's right.
It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening. It's happening right now. It's happening, happening. It's happening, happening.
Can openly and boldly say he has used up to 7% of his potential. Nobody. If you have used up to 5%, you will have shaken Africa. Even 5. Somebody say 1. So, because you don't know, the psalmist says, I am wonderfully and fearfully made. When it comes to the work of God, no human language can describe the ingenuity of God's creativity. And if you want to know your value, go and visit the geographer. Let him tell you what he knows about the universe, about the solar. He came from a very important and rigorous lecture to come and join us. This, once again, a round of applause for. Do you have any question?
Yes. In your absence. And did that feel the way the judgment or the way the issue ended? To me, I believe it didn't end well. Because looking at the two families in conflict, they agreed that they should use, the other family should use the land for 10 years. And then the other family extended that period without informing the family, and they went on fencing the land without the authority or the permission of the family. So compensating that other family, to me there is no cause of justice because they have used their own power to do on the land that does not belong to them legally.
Before you answer, yes. I'm on your side. I agree with you. You see, there are some people like us, they don't like cheating. I mean, that is cheating. It's my land. Why should I compensate you? Okay? Now when we talk, we should not be theoretical here. Yeah. We cannot always agree on everything. But in my own little knowledge, I'm not a lawyer. But based on what we are doing here, we are talking about peace. And this is one of the things.
Okay, mediation, you have different, it's just like the time is short. And just came into graph. Okay, mediation, it has different stages. Like the first stage is the submission of your disputes, okay, mutual. So during that process, all the documents or whatever, for instance, when it is land disputes, you have your policy, and I have my policy. We got it from the same party, the other side. So you have to bring in your documents. You entitles you to policy. And I'm also bringing my documents. It also entitles me to the policy. So there and then, we allow you to narrate your case. Because it's just about you say and I say. You understand? We allow you to narrate your case. And we also allow the other party to. Because before a process is started, you come in and make your complaint. You invite the other guy who also come and reply to your complaint. So we look at it, we compare with it. If even, you know, there is a need to call witness, then we invite witness. Okay, there are instances in which, if you look at the video, there are instances in which we refer as co-housing. That is, we talk to one party alone, understand? And then whatever you discuss is confidence. Maybe you have time to convince them. Let's do that. That's confidence between you and them. And you also call the other party too. You do the same thing because you want to be impartial. You understand? You do the same thing. Now, you know, they may say he definitely. When you come to real mediation, you must say that. Because if you say that, that will defeat the purpose of the mediation. But that is between you and them. However, this guy is greedy, he wants to take all, and then he wants to do this. However, if you bring those things in the actual mediation, that will defeat the purpose. That is between the two of you. And if you talk to the other party, he may also tell you something different. So for you, you are there to gain nothing. It's the parties who is gaining the process and the outcome of the mediation belongs to the party. That's why they say mediation will not dictate. We don't impose.
Suppose one of the parties default or is found wanting in agreeing by the very agreement he or she might have participated in drawing up. And somewhere along the line it says it cannot be taken for court because this is a confidential matter. How do we do? Do we start the process all over? But what happens?
You can't start all over again because the thing is, you have gone to a certain state. Unless it is proved on the contrary that that document was not authentic, or like that document will become a binding contract. You can take it to court and it will back. Yes.
First and foremost, I must congratulate you for the perfect explicit introduction and explanation you are doing for us. You really make a lot of us understand a lot about disputes and the like. But on the issue of these things, gentlemen, I want to own question. On my own understanding, I believe that what we try to do on that particular video was to encourage the one party to let go.
Yeah.
Yes. All that, to encourage the one party to let go. Regardless of the right or whatever you think is right. You always have to understand. For the sake of peace, just let go and continue a better life. Fine. The other thing again, there is funny things usually happens. I have two things to ask here. The difference between the conflict and the dispute. Then another thing again is there are certain times in the community, it will happen, they will come with a dispute resolution, have it end up where fine. But one party will always be stigmatized. For example, in a case like a rape happens, you don't want this case to go to the court. Then both parties will take the case to you people as court to settle the dispute. So after the settlement of the dispute, the person who raped will always be stigmatized from the society. And that was also will affect him directly and indirectly. How do we settle things like that? Because when I do this question is, we are doing a project for restorative justice. Where in the community, the community should accept the accuser and accept him to the society so he will live for the sake of peace. Because that's why they are knew what he has done, so let him accept it and live with the people as if nothing happened. How do we do things like that to a situation like this?
Like, let's go back to the first question, that is conflict and dispute. Those are English nomenclatures. Yeah, they are almost the same. Because if you go to synonyms and antonyms, conflict could be disputes. So those are nomenclatures. Maybe literally they may have some difference. But like if a step has to be taken, one of the parties may suffer. Yes, if justice system is done, one of the parties has to suffer. So let's put that on one side and then see how best we can resolve the best interest of our whole way. So in that case, it depends on the understanding of the community in which that act happened. In order to overcome that, you need to sensitize people, not to stigmatize that individual, because it will defeat the whole purpose of restoration. Because I am being raped, I compromise that without going to court, we resolve the matter. So based on
the human rights, because we have the phenomenon that everything that has advantage has disadvantage.
Yeah,
and I strongly believe that for the past few years or previous years now, this society has been practicing human rights. Maybe precisely in the educational field, must have been a lot of disadvantages that have been experienced. But what are these disadvantages, and how do you suggest it could be, have a remedy to it?
Okay, well, one of the disadvantages as this gentleman raised, like for instance, I can compromise my right just to bring peace. But like I say, now give me this. Well, I agree. And at the end of the day, you say, no, I'm not going to give it to you. So it means I'll compromise my right, and then at the end of the day, you are not fulfilling what you are supposed to do. That's one of the disadvantages. And then the other disadvantage is all in, because in human rights, my rights are protected, and your rights are protected. So your right ends where my right starts. As it is said, you have the right to swing your hand without touching my nose. Because your right to swing your hand stops where my nose begins. Because if you swing your hand and touch my nose, it means you are protecting my right. So in that case, the disadvantage is that by somebody compromising this right, that's another disadvantage. Because going through the investigation, I'm exercising my right. And if the law says, this is my right, nobody has the right to take away from me, that right from me. So one of the disadvantages is, your rights are taken away from you. Like in every society, one has to look at what best suits you. It's your right. But like in exercising that right, you also need to compromise. But you also have an obligation in maintaining peace.
Have the right to express themselves and the right to live with others and to form associations. But in exercising this right, the child must respect the rights, freedoms, and reputations of others. Every youth, for instance, has the right and the responsibility to obey and respect their parents, teachers, bosses, and government. So now you see that whatever right a youth has must go along with his right to obey his parents, because he didn't find his way here by himself. He came up through somebody. Somebody carried him or her for 9 months. And after that, began to nurture him. Even when he could not walk, somebody was carrying him.
He are concerned about the media practice, especially, and then with other previous teachers that we refer to. And then I really believe that this moment we are going to have right now will be so inspired, because it will help us to chat because of our life, most especially youth, those of us that are youth and not also students. This is the time that which you need to talk about and be prepared, because the things that which you will receive will help you and then guide you in the course of life. I agree.
So, madam, you are welcome.
When I came in and I read through my own leaflets and I saw culture of peace, something dropped into my mind and I made an addition there, that peace is self-denial. After listing all what you have listed, that was what came into my mind, that is self-denial. And after all the deliberations, what dropped into my mind was deliberated that you leave your own place a little, I leave my own place a little, then we have a common ground. And also, I've learned that as our director, doctor said, if you have not regarded God, your parents, and all the leaders, elders, then you have not started. And then also the last speaker, Brother Samuel, said, the idea of leadership is from God. So, and all of us here, thank God, at least irrespective of what religion we come from, we all connected like a tribe. How would the mathematics call it? What? A tribe, a triangle, and there, up there, we all climbing is to God. And it's Him that will lead us to this peace, because it's a very important thing. I appreciate 3D for this wonderful program. You agree with me, it's not a waste of time. We all learned something, and we believe that as we all go, at least we have one thing that we carry on. So on behalf of my colleague teachers and the student body that we represent and the school we are coming from, we want to say a big thank you to the president, director, and all the top big 3D organizers. We appreciate you and say very big thank you to this great movement. We look at it so small, but it's such a big responsibility. And on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to say the Lord will help you to have more wisdom as to how to impart this. And He will help us also in our different schools. We will continue something, and at the end of the day, it will spread out so that at last end, we all will have peace and rest in our communities, homes, and our country and the world at large. I thank you all.
is a useful youth. Cause a peaceful youth is a useful youth. And a peaceful youth.
Dear listeners,